We're back. It's the Groucho Orloff Show, episode 613. It's October 11th, 2022, and we're here in Mount Gratu with Forrest Jackson, a friend of, you'll probably be upside down. Anyway, we're here. He's really interested he's a book dealer. He collects antique books, and so he's wanting to tour through all the books I've got. None of which are organized yet because I've just mainly taken things out of boxes and put them onto shelves, and in some cases they're just piled up because I need to buy more book shelving after the move. So, do you want to just go through any particular bookshelf?
Well, let's look down here, and you can start plucking them.
Let's see. This bookshelf, I had to glue it back together. It was destroyed in the move.
Oh, it's really dim down there.
You can't see much?
Well, we need better light.
Really? Let's see. Well,
maybe we just turn this way.
I could just do it this way?
Yeah.
This is an ace double. I understand you brought a whole box of them, and in the next episode we're going to be looking at ace doubles. So, it's basically you've got a science fiction novel, and then you've got another science fiction novel, and you turn it upside down. So what do you...
I think you opened it up to the correct page there, by chance, where you see the middle of it and how it splits. There it goes.
Yeah.
I think I saw it.
Okay.
Where one story ends and the other one begins.
Right.
But I'll have more to say about these soon.
Right. So I don't know how many of these ace doubles I have. I think there's another one up here. We were trying to find them. Here's Philip E. High. First I thought it said Philip K. Dick.
Yeah, you would want that in an ace double. Because Philip K. Dick was first published in ace doubles.
Okay.
Now Lynn Carter, who's on there, he was a high fantasy author and editor who published a lot of Lovecraftian stuff. So I know who that is. I'm just saying.
Didn't he finish some of the Robert Howard
he did.
Conan stories?
Yeah.
Let's see. This is the Micronauts, but it has nothing to do with the toy line.
Oh.
But it's got a great Boris Vallejo cover.
Is it based at all on the toys?
No, I think it's prior to that. Man, I can't read the date because I don't have my reading glasses on, but it's before that, trust me.
I loved those Micronaut toys when I was a kid.
Here's Hugo Award novelist C.J. Shorey.
Cherry?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I never read her. I do have a few of her books.
Okay.
She's deceased.
So she's one of those female writers that uses initials, so you don't know she's a girl.
Like Patricia Rodriguez, our artist friend, who signs her artwork P. Rodriguez.
Oh, well, I don't think it's against. It goes against you if you're a female artist, but as far as writing science fiction and things that are typically male-dominated.
In that time period,
what's
anyhow.
the name? J.K. Rowling?
Yeah.
You know, because little boys don't want to read books written by girls, so that's why. I got a bunch of Star Trek books here from my childhood. And let's see.
Yeah, there's an ace. This is a nonfiction, or quote nonfiction.
This Charles Fort wrote about a lot of weird things. Do you know about him?
Oh yeah, he would try to come up with rational explanations for inexplicable occurrences. So, I like Charles Fort. I haven't really read a whole lot of his original work. I just like his.
Here's Space Viking.
Yeah, this guy Piper, he wrote these what they called fuzzies or furries. They were these cute little Ewok type creatures he wrote a whole series about, so hopefully this is not about it.
That's the uniform that the Space Force should use. Trump's Space Force should use that uniform. This is written by a killer. Carol Chessman.
This person was actually a murderer? Or is it a fiction book?
Chessman was a killer. Carol Chessman, yeah, I guess he wrote it. I guess in prison he must have written this.
Let's see what it says on the copyright page.
This is Carol Chessman's fourth book, his only work of fiction. Actually, okay, it's fiction. We print it just as we received it from San Quentin. In it, the author of Cell 2455 Death Row creates a character who has reason to hate the world and who spends his brief adult life courting death.
I want to see the next page here. Let's see, what does it say?
It's for Fuzzy.
Yeah, that'd be great for
Who
H.B.
on another
Piper.
day knew another kid who loved him and tried to make him whole.
So what you have here is a first gold medal printing, so that implies that in 1959, it looks like it was published in oh, so this might be a Frenchman. No, because it looks like it was published in France in 1959.
Yeah,
maybe Canada.
I don't really remember the details of Carol Chessman, but there's even songs about him. He was like it's kind of like Ted Bundy writing novels, so I don't know what the deal is.
I remember in the 1990s that serial killer stuff was so cool, and now it's just not.
Yeah, that was a big trend. Here's a Honey West novel based on the TV series. Actually, no, it was a series of books, and then it was turned into a TV series, right?
Well, who's the author?
G.G. Pickling.
Fickling.
Fickling, sorry.
That sounds like a pseudonym if I ever heard one.
Follow Honey West's deadly doings in Pyramid paperbacks and on ABC's terrific new TV thriller series. That's Anne Francis that was in Forbidden Planet. But yeah, it was a series of books first. I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm half asleep. Wait, did we just look at this book? Didn't we just see G.G. Fickling? This is it's another Honey West. This is before the TV series, when she's not solidified as Anne Francis. Yeah, so she was. Yeah, I don't know. So some of these books are still in somewhat of an order just from when they were packed, and when I took them out. And this is a British James Bond edition, Pan Books. Urbane Savagery. These were the Lovecraft editions that came out in the 80s, as I recall, around mid-80s, with these kind of...
It's a British publication.
Is it? I remember buying it at a comic store that opened in South Arlington. I think it was called Forbidden Worlds or something like that.
Did you read it?
Yeah, back then. See what's interesting here. This is the Mammoth Book of Horror Comics. Over 50 of the greatest horror comics and graphic short stories. So it's badly reproduced, but it's better than they're okay, I guess.
Who's the original publisher of these horror comics?
I think they're from different publishers. They're probably that's Harvey, the same company that did Casper and that's Skywald. Yeah, they're just pulling stuff that I guess they figure is public domain. Or maybe they got permission. Twisted Tales is from the 80s. That's not going to be in public domain. Yeah, I don't know. I guess they got permission to print this stuff. Let me know if you see anything interesting here.
What is the Dictionary of Demonology?
This is Dictionary of Demonology. I think it... What do you do when... Is there some kind of acid-free tape or something?
Well, you know what?
Like
the regular Scotch tape that's not glossy, that matte kind of... The tape you usually get isn't really so bad.
Right.
If it's cellophane tape that's got that shiny appearance, that's not good to use. But if it's the matte stuff...
It's got every demon listed by name.
Is Pazuzu in there from The Exorcist?
Was that a real demon?
I think so.
Created for the...
I'm pretty sure.
That's a true story, but it was really a boy, not a girl. There's Pact, Paul, Arnold, Picard. Picard.
No Pazuzu.
I guess not. I don't know. There's Pippi, like Pippi Longstocking.
she was a hellish child.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's King Arthur and his knights.
Oh man, I meant to bring a Mort d'Arthur to show you, and I forgot it.
Well, this is probably rewritten for the child market.
Yeah.
Stories from King Arthur. But anyway, this is from what year?
I remember when Excalibur came out, it was so scandalous.
Well, when Excalibur came out, it's still a little out there as far as you don't normally associate King Arthur movies with so much blood and nudity.
Okay, this looks like it's probably the book club edition.
Probably, because
yeah.
I don't have big money. I never really have, and I would buy shit. See, this is half-price books.
Yeah, I hate that.
You know, I went to a half-price books the other day, last Tuesday, that's south of Des Moines, and it looks just like the ones up down in Texas, but it was just real boring. Of course, I was trying not to find anything.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as exciting as the ones I normally go to, and
I have that Very Special People.
yeah, they used to sell this in the back of comics and sleazy magazines. You could order this book about different freaks.
I think Brenda bought me a copy at Booked Up in Archer City, and she surprised me and gave it to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a rare book. I never see it.
Did you ever get to go to Booked Up?
I don't know. Where's Archer City? Is that out in the sticks?
It's south of Wichita Falls, and it's at the time it was the largest bookstore in the state.
Yeah, no, I guess I didn't ever go there. There's this book about Ed Gein and
yeah, I've got
the
that.
Brady Bunch books.
Did you ever finish reading Confederacy of Dunces?
I never started it.
I started it.
Everyone told me I should read it because it's just like this guy that we knew that's since passed away.
Oh, Gavin?
Yeah, but everyone said he's exactly like the book, and I heard they were always trying to make it into a movie, but I don't. I should have. You know, I could lie and say I've read it because you're supposed to have read that book. But
well, I never finished it. I started it. It was funny, but I didn't have the follow through with it.
Let's see what's here. There's some books here that I was afraid were missing, and then I found them.
Found.
Yeah. Well, I found these books right before they were about to be. I mean, there was a storm, and I was out in the garage, and
oh yeah.
I saw a leak coming down from the ceiling, and it was about to hit a box, and it turned out to be the box of the books, and I managed to rescue them seconds
I've
before.
never seen this particular one of The Shadow.
It's
a blank book plate. I wonder what that's
in the
covering
70s,
up.
it was the people that grew up with this stuff in the 30s, in the 1970s, they were marketing all this nostalgia to a lot of.
It's nice that they've rubricated the.
Oh, this is actually a little earlier than that. This is in '66, so this is going to be more based on the Batman series, is what
the popularity of the Batman
series. Yeah, the popularity
series.
of the Batman series, and then nostalgia of old comics.
Didn't it start as a radio
Pulp.
show first, and then they made the pulp?
I
think so.
I thought it was the other way around, but you probably are right.
Well, I could be thinking of something else.
This is I didn't know I had this. I was thinking I wanted this book, but I didn't know I actually owned it. But this is Charlton Comics put out a Tarzan comic that people think is really well done, but they didn't have permission to do it in the 60s. And so they put out, I think, 4 or 5 issues and until they were told to shut down, because the real company that had permission was a company called Gold Key. So,
gosh, is all that public domain now? When did
well,
Burroughs die? In the 60s?
Tarzan.
I mean, the author. When did he die? In the 60s?
Edgar Rice Burroughs, I think, died in the 50s. And
all right. His estate's probably locked down with copyrights.
Well, they're. I don't know. I know that John Carter. There's a company putting out. This is a Tarzan type comic, but it had Frank Frazetta art, so it's in some of the issues that let's present it right there. No, the thing about there's a company that puts out, and they just call it Warrior or Warlord of Mars, and they've got all these, these titty covers with Deja Thoris. I think John Carter started in 1912.
Yeah. Well, so did Tarzan.
Yeah, John Carter was a year or two before Tarzan.
Really?
I don't know exactly how all that works. I mean, they still own Tarzan, but you can do some things. I don't know. They're about to make a Tarzan movie, but he's going to be all woke and politically correct, which is kind of hard to do. At least the first few novels certainly aren't politically correct.
Well, you think they're going to follow the stories? They just want to see him in a loincloth.
I don't know what they're up to.
That's also rather dim on the
dim,
screen.
Okay. Well,
let's go over here.
There's more books over here, yeah.
Now, I want to caution you, if you remove this book, I looked at it earlier, and I made sure to brace this, because these could all fall if you pull one off the side. But they didn't fall, because I saw it could happen.
Oh, yeah, but it probably shouldn't be. It's going to get bent there. I need to have something there, because this is kind of valuable.
You know what? If you
or is it? Maybe it isn't.
If
I should have a shitty book on the edge.
If you put in one more paperback, it'll make everything snug.
Okay.
I mean, that's the way I would do it. Is this a gothic romance?
Yeah, down a dark hall. Only one word could describe the atmosphere at Kit's new school, and the word was evil. Yeah, it's all part of the... When Dark Shadows was on the air, they put out 1 million books.
Did Rosemary's Baby predate the Dark Shadows TV show?
No, it was the same time. I think Rosemary's Baby was 67, and Dark Shadows was on at that time. Why did I walk over here? I'm not sure. I don't know everything's completely out of order. There's no rhyme or reason. I guess the Mads are kind of together.
I wonder what this is, the Lion Game. I'm not familiar with that one.
Looks like a Kelly Frias cover.
Could be. Let me stand up.
Yeah, that's Kelly Frias. That's why I bought it.
Yeah. This guy was popular in the 60s, the author, but I think he's mostly forgotten now.
James A. Schmitz.
Yeah. He wrote one called The Witches of Cares. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I haven't read it either. Oh, what's this? Horizontal Secretary.
Oh, that's just a dirty paperback. Let's see. I don't know what's interesting.
I wonder what's Beyond the Stars. Okay.
Looks like a Star Wars knockoff.
Yeah. Man, I'm so bad at filming.
Definitely. In fact, it looks like... well, I'll pull the books out and make it easier for you to hold the camera. These are all...
I should probably apologize to everybody who's watching this that I'm just terrible at this.
They always complain about my camera work. Now they can complain about someone else.
I'll give them
These
something
are all
to complain
comic
about.
book digest. These are...
Ooh, Block and Bradbury, two of my favorites. I don't have that one.
Yeah, this was given to me by my friend Jim.
Oh, yeah. He gave you the whole boxes of books?
Well, he was downsizing, I guess, and he got everything digitized, or he got it all available on his computer, and then he got rid of his books.
Yeah.
I guess.
You don't want to trade off some of these Robert Bloch books?
No, I mean...
Okay, I'll stop.
Plus, they were a gift, so that would be kind of shitty.
That's true.
But no, I love the stuff.
Do you think this is the left one or the right one?
I don't know. This is a line of comics that came out in the 60s that they had Wally Wood and really good artists, but they were giant-sized comics that were a quarter each, and so they didn't sell as well because they were more expensive.
Yeah.
And the Dark Shadows paperbacks were, big.
Yeah, they probably printed 1 million of those.
Yeah. And let's see. This is the novelization of Young Frankenstein. You don't see that much. But back then, all you could do is, if you liked a movie, you could get the soundtrack and you could get the novelization, and every movie had a novelization.
Some people just collect novelizations.
Yeah, it's just there because you never dreamed you could actually own the movie someday. Maybe you could own a 7 minutes of it on Super 8. And,
Yeah.
Let's see, what's interesting?
Hey, do you ever read Stephen King novels? I don't see those around here.
I don't have much. I have read Stephen King. Stephen King's turned into a complete 100% asshole lately. Just politically.
How do you know he wasn't that way all along?
I'm sure he has been, but there wasn't ways for him to comment on everything.
Yeah.
Twitter didn't exist. That shows just what an asshole people that you like are.
Well, let me tell you what a great guy he was before the internet.
Yeah.
If you knew his office mailing address,
Yeah.
you could mail him books to autograph with the return postage, and he'd inscribe the book to you and mail it back. And then when the internet came along and his business address, his office address got mentioned on the internet, he had to shut it down and stop that. But I thought that was really nice of him to, somebody he could spend his time writing his books rather than signing books.
Oh, sure, yeah. This is what Alex Jones sends you if you ever order any of his movies, or at least he used to. He sends you this pocket copy of the Constitution.
Yeah, I'm sure Stephen King. I would love to see a death match between Stephen King and Alex Jones.
Well, Stephen King is. That's cool of him to do that. It's probably because it's being inscribed to you, and
yeah,
you don't figure that person's going to resell the book.
In fact, you hit upon a good point because he insisted on inscribing. He would not do it otherwise at that time.
Yeah, that's it. He doesn't want to inscribe 100 books for someone that's just going to resell them.
Well, I kept 2 of them, and I resold all the rest, and I regret.
With your name?
Yeah, I regret it, but I'm a book dealer.
The only thing about having it inscribed to someone, it's more certain that it's a real autograph, right?
Yeah.
Because no one's gonna do a fake signature inscribed to someone.
Well, the other thing is like Barry Levin he was a science fiction book dealer in Santa Monica. He wrote a good article about how for a very famous author like Stephen King or Philip K. Dick, you want them to inscribe it to an individual because it's comparatively easy to forge just merely the autograph, but to also be able to forge the penmanship of the author. So if you have a long inscription, for example, I asked Thomas Ligotti to write a long inscription on a book that I sent him for signing. He said, no, I'll just sign it, because he didn't want to mess with it. But that's a good example of an author who, let me start over. If an unscrupulous person wants to forge an autograph, they're going to pick somebody that they can really make money on, like Stephen King or Philip K. Dick. And I do see on eBay Philip K. Dick paperbacks that are signed that is like, I don't think that looks real. But, if it's inscribed with the sample of the handwriting, it sells for a whole lot more now.
Oh, well, that makes sense. This is a model kit I've got to put back together, King Kong. Yeah, let's see. These are just something you get from Scholastic Books,
Yeah, there's one science fiction paperback. I can't remember the title of it, but I hope to come across it here.
This is adaptations of the Planet of the Apes TV series, and then this one, I think, is adaptations of the Saturday morning cartoon.
Whoa.
Which is probably, I don't know if it's rare. You don't ever see it.
Did you read I Am Legend?
Yeah. There was a guy in the barbecue place talking about Omega Man the other night. I'm just switching these books out to put better books on the. Omega Man's the best one there. I just put. Keep filling the books. That's the plumber.
The plumber is here.
That's probably, he's probably ringing the... Yeah, you can just go around and look at stuff for us while I deal with this.
Okay. It's very treacherous here in Mount Gratu. I nearly tripped over some CDs.
If it's leaking around the base, I'll have to get a wax ring and just reset it.
Okay, that's maybe all it is, you think?
Yeah, that's usually what happens. Is the wax ring get old, start leaking. Usually they last.
I've read that Alien by Alan Dean Foster, novelization. Mostly I don't read novelizations. Oh, we were talking about Stephen King. I think I see The Mist. And I'm not going to give away the ending, but it's different than the movie. And I liked both the story and the movie for different reasons. There's another H.P. Lovecraft book or two. I wonder what The Spider Sex Slaves is about. And I wonder if he has any Dennis Waitley novels. Probably not. Harold and Maude novelization.
Yeah, that's fine.
We got hit by property tax, and then I'm about to start, I'm a retired teacher in Texas, so I'm gonna start sitting here, but you have to pay $160
Dirty movies. So this Vampirella set is something that I found in Oklahoma. It's the first 4 years or 3 years or something of Vampirella comics, and I knew Kenneth had to have it, so I'd like to think I gave him a good deal on it. Here's this Graven Images. I have that one. It's a good book. Oh wow, have spacesuit will travel. I have this one too. Female sex perversion. That's great.
Where are you at?
I'm over here.
Yeah.
Look at. I'm announcing.
You don't want to like make. If there's something horrible, you probably shouldn't be showing it.
There's nothing horrible. What's horrible? Oh, your dog.
The dog's not horrible. Forrest doesn't like dogs.
Not licking me on my face.
But
no, your dog is pretty nice. I agree.
why do you have both phones there?
I'm using this as a light.
Oh, okay. Make sure you're not covering up the microphone, though.
Oh, well.
You might be doing that. Yeah, maybe.
No, the microphone's... Oh, I see what you mean.
I don't know.
I don't think that would affect it much.
So, yeah, I don't know. These books are just thrown up here randomly.
Do you have 2 copies of 1984?
I have a bunch of copies of 1984.
Did you used to teach that in your class?
We were... No, I was teaching kids a little too young for that. There's
okay.
parts of 1984 that are...
Yeah. That's right. And also, you're mostly teaching. Were you teaching English or history or both?
English, but history is always part of English if you teach it properly. Because you have to know about the times when the books were written to fully understand the books. At least that's my philosophy. Other people disagree with me.
Here's your book on the Spice Girls.
Yeah, I like the Spice Girls, and I'm not embarrassed to admit it.
Oh, you have.
That was a great.
I love.
There were a lot of people that have common sense realize that that was like the promise of something great in pop music, and it just
Fizzled out.
yeah, because just
Well,
like
they made a
everything
bunch
else.
of money. I like that you have the Bob Larson book I gave you shelved next to Idols of Perversity, which is a great book about the decadent period of European history.
Well, I don't know. The books just it just happenstance. That things get shelved, I guess.
But I do recommend that book, Idols of Perversity. It's really good.
Okay.
It's kind of academic, but that doesn't bother me.
So what have you discovered while I was dealing with the plumber?
Two copies of 1984, and I made sure to mention all the smutty titles.
Yeah, the
while you weren't looking.
The guy says it just needs probably a wax ring around the.
Hey,
I was asking him if that's what's causing the problem with the bathroom down below.
Do you know? I see some research books here. Do you have the one on pranks?
Yes, but they're not all together, or are they?
Well, a few of them are together.
I think there's some books even inside this secretary over here.
Okay.
But anyway, I'm looking for bookshelves real bad.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is at almost 32 minutes. Should we sign off at this one?
If I do a 32-minute show, it won't get. People prefer longer shows. I usually run until the battery, till the memory dies on my phone. But this was going to be a kitchen, apparently, the previous owners, but they installed cabinets, but never installed sinks or...
Hey, I've got an idea for you.
So I'm just using it as shelving, because I need somewhere to put the books. And then I was trying to put this Monsters Living Room model kit back together here.
Is this the one that got thrown in a box?
Yeah, it was...
or one of the many?
Yeah, I had a lot of model kits not treated well.
Are they just particularly fragile because they're just kind of thin plastic?
Yeah, and that has a lot of little pieces. Yeah, all of those old model kits are fragile.
Yeah, I remember I had a cousin who had all those, and I'd stay over at their house and got to sleep in his room and see all those. I never really got into the model kit phenomenon personally. Oh, you have Flying Saucers Top Secret by Kehoe.
Where's that one?
It's behind the monster here.
Behind Frankenstein? Okay. Is that a rare one?
It looks like a book club edition from here, but...
I think everything I probably got at Half Price Books or something, or probably book club editions.
Yeah.
Yeah, book club edition.
So he was a pulp writer before he was a UFO person, so it really makes you wonder, if somebody starts their career as a fiction writer, like, say, Whitley Strieber, and then they write about alien stuff, are they just fictionalizing stuff?
Well,
maybe that's not the right way to put it.
You gotta move little figures to look at. There's a Doc Savage and Avenger, but I need to get them all together.
Okay.
Oh, this looks good. Pirate Winch. This is really great. This
yeah,
parody
I read
of,
that twice. I like how one of the characters' name is Dildo Baggins, and then the Gollum character's name is Goddamn.
If Amazon had any common sense, instead of making this politically correct woke version of Lord of the Rings, they should have just adapted Lord of the Rings by the Harvard Lampoon. Oh, I think I might not have unlocked the door for the plumber, man.
Oh, he's going to get to work on it today?
Yeah, I think so.
Front.
CDs, VHS. Hey, what's this Ghastly Terror book about?
I think it's about pre-code horror comic books.
Mhm.
Where is it at?
Just here, in yellow.
Yeah, that's what that is. Hold on. If I get all these little figures somewhere else, then it'll be easier to look at books. Yeah, it's The Horrible Story of the Horror Comics. Wonder how many of these type books have been done.
Can you get a little bit of... Oh, wait, what's going on there? I thought... Okay, it doesn't have the flap.
Torn off.
I thought if you had the flap, we could glue that back down. You know,
Yeah.
Elmer's glue is really not that bad of stuff for doing book repairs. You just have to know how to use it.
And I was surprised. My friend Gerald showed me that Elmer's glue is good with furniture.
Well, yeah, like wood.
It's a lot stronger than you realize.
It's similar to a wood glue.
Yeah.
If it didn't work very well, what would it be?
Huh?
If it didn't work well, what would it be? Not a wood glue, it would be a won't glue.
A what glue?
Won't. It was a joke.
Oh, okay.
It was
I
just
get it.
a joke.
I get it. Okay. So,
Oh, wow, more books.
oh yeah, that bookshelf I bought from the neighbors at a garage sale. Yeah, if I record a show and it's only half an hour, I might get 100 views. But if I record a show,
Oh, dude, hold on a second. You might have a first edition of The Exorcist. Can you move these?
I bet it's a book club edition. Come on, I don't have anything valuable here.
Well, I mean, no, this looks like a first edition. Here, you hold the camera this time.
Okay. It's whatever it is. It's a beat up edition.
Yeah, it's hard to find this book in perfect condition because everybody read it. Okay, so it's not a first edition, but it is. Well, I should say it's not a first printing. On The Exorcist, you look in the back here and see that it's a fifth printing.
Okay.
Oh, okay. The 7-1 is 1971,
Okay.
and 5 is the fifth printing. So it's a first edition, fifth printing, and you know it's of that edition because it's got half cloth or quarter cloth, and these are paper boards.
Oh, I see.
But the book club editions are just that paper, like this Man in the High Castle here. Although, you know what? I should probably look at this because the trade edition is really similar.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure it's book club.
Yeah.
Book clubs are worthless, basically, or what?
We should research this.
Let me go feed her, man.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Can you hold the phone?
Yeah.
She starts this. I think she's hungry.
All right. I could be wrong about this, but I'm thinking that the Man in the High Castle, the trade publication and the book club publication, I think have the same kind of binding.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, it's there's more. When the video is longer, you'll get maybe 200 or 300 extra people because people want to put something on that plays for a while. So they don't have to mess with it and not. I assume that's it.
Yeah. Here, do you want to hold on to this?
Yeah.
I'm just researching this.
Free from Discover.
So there's one first edition with a good dust jacket. Somebody wants over $3,000 for it. But you know, the dust jacket's half the value
Yeah.
on something like this. Here somebody wants 20 grand. It better be autographed. Yeah, it's autographed. But that's, you know, that's just an asking price. You can't expect that people are really gonna get those amounts. D36. Okay. So the first edition has a code D36 and that says D45.
Okay.
So it's not the first printing. But that's okay. You didn't expect it to. You said you paid $4.
Well, it says I paid $4. I don't remember. Yeah.
Oh, you want to trade back?
Yeah, I'll put this back.
Have you read it?
I read part of it. I don't think I finished. I was meaning to.
Yeah. I can see why it really did cross over into literature. You know, it busted out of science fiction genre.
Isn't there the TV series still on?
I don't know. I saw the first episode of that. It was very humorless.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that Man in the High Castle is a laugh a minute, but Philip K. Dick always had some kind of dark sense of humor in his writing, or absurdity.
Yeah.
And for example, in Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, you know, everybody loves the movie Blade Runner, but that only covers like one or two aspects of this novel. In the beginning of Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, the cop wakes up with his wife, and she wants to stay depressed, and so she dials her. She has this science fiction thing that you can dial your mood. So he wants to be happy, and he dials his mood for happy, and she wants to be depressed. And it's a funny scene,
Yeah.
and it's not in the movie, you know?
These are some James Bond.
I have one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
James Bond's World of Values. This might be a religious book. I think it is. Yeah, he's a minister. They would do this. Popular franchises, they like Mad Magazine and what else? Star Wars. They would put out this book. They used to advertise this in the Monster Times. Ads in the back of Monster Times. But you might be skimming over books that people that watch the show would be interested in, and that you have no interest in because you're more you're not really a comic book person. Like this might be interesting to somebody that's a sad sack. Before the Harvey comic, this is the real sad sack from World War II.
It's nice that it has a dust jacket.
Oracles of Nostradamus. Isn't that bent back the wrong way underneath the...
Yeah, that's an easy thing to fix. Who's the publisher on this?
Let's see.
The World Books. It says Scribner's and Son. Oh, that could be
1940.
Yeah, see that A there? That little A symbol?
Yeah.
That means it might be a first printing of this.
Well, it's right as World War II was. We weren't involved in it yet, but
yeah,
everybody else was.
Well, and then obviously a first edition is from what, the 1500s or something? Yeah. When was Nostradamus? 1500s.
So. I bought this bookshelf from the neighbors at a garage sale, and I bought these two statues of these kids reading, and that one back there. And I think I got these 5 books from them at the garage sale.
I see Tolstoy. Did you ever read that War and Peace?
No, War and Peace was always just a joke in all the magazines. God. It's like, as far as it being a long novel.
It's so good. And let me tell you the thing, that it starts off, let me see, it starts off in the peacetime. For the first 100 pages, it's just these Russian aristocrats having a tea party or something.
Oh, fun.
No, it's so well written
Oh, yeah?
that it's a page turner.
If anyone knows what this is, I bought it in 1972 or 73 in Hampton, Virginia. It's the head pops off, and I've got a minister over here, or a judge. I think it's a minister. He used to have a little wig on top of its head. It's from the same line. And if anyone knows what these are,
What does it say on the feet? Does it have like a maker's mark?
you can,
Something. No, I guess not.
yeah, somebody might know, because I'd like to get more of these things. One thing I'm looking for are these little finger puppets that are glow-in-the-dark, two ghost puppets.
Huh.
They're from Hasbro.
Are you saying that you have them here somewhere?
I'm hoping they're here somewhere.
Yeah.
But almost every time I think something's lost, I find it, with a couple of exceptions. I haven't found. I bought this lamp here from the neighbors too.
Yeah, I love Art Nouveau. Anything. In Texas, you can't find Art Nouveau. The closest you can get is the arts and crafts style.
Yeah. Well, arts and crafts is popular down there.
Well, yeah, I mean, I got nothing against that, but I like the European Art Nouveau, like continental, like Eastern European Art Nouveau. And the neat thing is that the Soviets didn't knock down a lot of those buildings for progress, so you can go to Eastern Europe and still see original Art Nouveau buildings that weren't knocked down when it was unpopular.
There's a knockoff in several ways. It's a knockoff of Edgar Rice Burroughs. He really looks like Tarzan more than John Carter, and then it's the ripping off Ray Bradbury's name. It's like they're stealing from three different sources.
But I think that might even be written by Michael Moorcock. I'm not going to bet money on that, but I think he was Edward P. Bradbury.
I would change my name too if my name was Moorcock. You know, I'm sure he got made fun of in elementary school and all through school.
Yeah.
It's the first destroyer.
Well, I did him no favors. The only time I met him, all I wanted to do was ask him about his friend J.G. Ballard, and I should have been ass-kissing Michael Moorcock. You know, he lived in Texas.
Yeah.
For a while.
Here's more Gore, Tarnsman of Gore.
Yeah, that looks like a first printing of the first book. Open that up to the copyright page.
It's got some.
It's
got a bend to it.
No, the next page.
This is.
I'm sorry. So the one more. Let me flip to
here, 1966, first printing, second printing, first Canadian printing.
So it's a second printing from 1970.
Oh yeah.
But it's in nice condition except for that bend.
I guess that could be flattened out. I don't know.
You kind of gently bend it back the other direction.
And a bunch of Dennis the Menace. I was obsessed with Dennis the Menace as a kid.
I guess that's a second printing of Star Wars.
Well, this is not my childhood copy, which would be a first printing for sure. This is one I don't think this is.
Second printing, 1977. Got it right.
Well, wait a second. The first edition's December of 76.
Yeah, I think it was the very first Star Wars anything was the novel came out
did
first.
Did it have the same cover?
No, it had a painting. Then Darth Vader looked a little different.
Oh, okay.
The characters weren't.
December of 76, no one knew what Star Wars even was.
I'm pretty sure the paperback was the very first thing that came out.
Yeah, you're probably right.
It could have been a comic book or a
Well, the comic book came out about 3-4 months before the movie because they were already on the third or fourth issue when the movie came out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Because I was reading the comic, I already knew all about the beginning of the movie when I saw it.
I read Sax Rohmer, Brood of the Witch Queen. I read that recently. It was all right.
This is Harvey Kurtzman, Will Elder. It's supposed to. It's kind of like what later became Little Annie Fanny, except they just changed this character Goodman Beaver into a girl, and it's he meets up with Tarzan. They got a topless Jane. There's one where he meets up with the Archie comics crew, and
So is it a parody?
it's it's Harvey Kurtzman's the guy that started Mad Magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a parody, but when they reprinted the Archie, I don't think the Archie stuff's in this. And when it was reprinted in the 80s, they had to alter the Archie characters' faces a little bit because Archie did not. They were still pissed from when he did the parody of
Hey,
Archie.
can you unscroll your Cramps poster?
Oh.
That's another thing that Brenda loves is the Cramps, and she took me to go see him in concert.
That's Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
As a welder.
So that's from the late 90s, probably?
Oh, it's got another poster on the other side. Yeah, when they didn't have, they had two other people.
Well, I can't get a view on this.
It's alright. I mean, that's not the classic Cramps. It's not the Cramps that I loved.
Yeah, I think their last really consistently great album was A Date with Elvis.
Okay.
And after that, it kind of became more of a self-parody.
It's like we were talking about earlier about how Howard Stern wasn't as much fun when he was uncensored and could curse. I think it's the same thing with the Cramps when they were started putting the word fuck in songs. Then they're not any better than hip hop artists.
I don't remember that song, but
it's in the later records.
yeah, usually they were wittier than that.
I was starting putting books down here. I don't think there's anything great down there. There's a bunch of Japanese superhero monster magazines.
Did you make that Mondo Manson movie? Is that yours?
No, I think it's a collection of like a documentary about Manson and a bunch of other clips, interviews where he was acting nutty.
I brought a Charles Manson book to show you later.
Oh.
I mean, it's not by Charles Manson.
Here's the adaptations of the comic adaptations of Planet of the Apes with the book and record from Power Records. I gotta put those upstairs. There's a bunch of paperbacks in here. The lighting in here is not great.
Well, I got my phone on here.
Down here is mostly like Mad paperbacks mixed with Ayn Rand and stuff. This is the making of Space 1999. They were hoping it would be like Star Trek and people would buy all these paperbacks.
I wonder what Psychedelic 40 is about.
Where's that at?
It's that purplish one next to Alfred E. Newman.
Oh.
Oh, wow. I never even seen that Dunsany
A
title.
prophetic novel of the USA ruled by the syndicate. Men with super minds who can probe the ordinary citizen's thoughts at will. What's the date? 1993 there?
Yeah. So
So
that book would have come out around 1970.
Oh, yeah, when things were 50 cents, yeah, so.
Leave that out. I'd like to look at that more. And then Dunsany, I don't think I've ever seen that title.
Over the Hills and Far Away, introduction by Lynn Carter. These could have, I might have gotten these from my friend Jim, I don't remember. There's stuff behind things. Let's see what this is. A Robert Bloch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, oh, that's a great cover. This edition was used in the Better Call Saul, the sequel to Breaking Bad, a prequel to the Breaking Bad series. He had this on his bedside, and then it later had something to do with the plot.
Yeah, I've never seen those shows.
Yeah, they're good.
There's an Ace.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
well,
just not
it's
an Ace double.